Hi guys, Kar Yong here and welcome to the week 44 trade idea. Okay, and in this particular episode here, we're going to talk about the New Zealand dollar, right? And this is one of the pair that we are focusing for the upcoming week, right? Which is 2020 week 44. Okay, so in this video, we're going to walk through why I'm personally looking at the New Zealand dollar. Okay, and of course, hopefully through this sharing, you'll be able to gain some insights that will be able to help you in your own trading technique as well. Okay, so on the daily time frame, what I'm seeing over here is, of course, we do have a diagonal pattern or what we call here a crawl pattern. Okay, and every time we see a combination of an impulse and then a crawl, we know there's a very high possibility that a reversal is coming. Okay, and not only that, if I were to actually zoom in a little bit, we are also seeing a impulse drop to the downside followed by a flag, right? And every time again we see this combination, we know there's a very high probability the move is going to continue to the downside. Okay, so on a daily time frame, that's where we use this to determine our big picture perspective. Okay, so this is our higher time frame analysis. Whenever we execute a trade, we also want to know what's happening on a higher time frame. Are we trading in line in the daily time frame direction, or are we taking more of a short-term counter trend trade? Okay, so in this case here, you can see the directional bias on the New Zealand dollar based on the daily time frame. We are looking for downside. Okay, so two combination of pattern coming together, that's like increasing the confluences. And of course, the target we are looking out for is including some fibs, right? That's the area of 0.6420. And of course, this also confluenced nicely with the previous low where the diagonal started forming around at 0.6380. Okay, so that's the zone that we are aiming for in terms of the final target. Now, if I bring you to the 4-hour time frame, what I like about this is we do have a smaller double top pattern on a smaller time frame as well, which is on a 4-hour. Okay, and this double top actually completed, with the break of this neckline over here. If you do that measurement, is more or less there, but we don't trade just the double top. What I like about this, of course, is we do have some form of rejection over here. We do have a very strong impulse push. And right now, what I'm seeing over here is we do have a 3-wave completed correction. Okay, so this correction, of course, right now, everything aligns very nicely. What we see is that price has even touched this equal leg, right, of this WXY around the 6699. If you round out a little bit, that's about 0.67. Okay, but that doesn't mean that price needs to drop immediately. Okay, but again, I'm stacking up the odds and the probability over here for a short trade. Okay, and what I also like to see, of course, what I like about what is happening right now is if I drop down to the 1-hour time frame, you can even see a smaller scale diagonal that's happening right now over here. Okay, so we do have that impulse followed by a crawl, and again, every time we see this combination of pattern forming, we know there's a very high probability the reversal is likely going to come. Okay, and what I can show you, so if I bring out the RSI, which is just a relative strength indicator, right? It's just a momentum indicator. If you use stochastic, likely you're going to have the same result. Okay, you do see there is a divergence happening already. Okay, so again, most of the time when you have a crawl pattern on the chart, that's where diagonal tends to happen. Okay, so again, with all this stacking up, right, the probability for the short trade, I'm going in with a very high conviction. But of course, a very quick risk disclaimer over here is that it's not going to be 100%, right? So I can be wrong, the market's always right. But what I'm doing over here is, of course, stacking up the probability so that whenever I execute a trade, I know I have a much higher edge. I have the advantage over a period of time. Okay, so there are a few ways we can actually look to execute this trade. Of course, right now, price is already in the key zone. We can look to execute it at market. Okay, that's not what we're gonna do, but that's one possibility because already we see some form of reaction from this level. Okay, and of course, the final target here is gonna be based on this level. Okay, 6420 to 6380. Okay, but what I anticipate is price is not going to drop immediately down like that. Okay, ideally it might happen, okay, but most of the time it's gonna drop and then it's gonna do some form of correction before another push down, okay, and I anticipate that there might be some reaction coming in around the 6525. Okay, so how am I going to execute this trade? Of course, some of you who have been following me sometime, you know I either do a pending limit or I do a sell stop, right, which is a breakout entry. Okay, and most of the time I use the 1 hour and a 4 hour to execute the trade. Okay, so in this case, if it's gonna be a breakout, then very clearly, you know, it's gonna be below this here, and of course the stop is gonna just be above the recent high, giving us about 50 pips of stop. Okay, of course this is not the exact price, but I'm using it to show you what is the potential risk reward you can actually get out of this trade. Okay, so based on this here, you can see the risk reward is close to 1:4.8. Okay, of course depending on how tight you can manage your stop, that you can increase that easily to 1:5. Okay, and that is actually very decent. I would say very attractive risk to reward ratio. Okay, and you know, this is definitely one of the pair that I'm gonna focus on for the week to come. Okay, New Zealand dollar. Okay, so I hope this sharing over here, right, give you certain insights of how we, you know, put things together from different time frame. And of course, hopefully you don't just take it as like, oh, okay, Kar Yong is watching the New Zealand dollar today, this week, and therefore, you know, I trade the New Zealand dollar. Okay, the objective and my intention of sharing with you one trade idea per week is to use this trade idea, this case study, to also give you some insight, some, you know, behind the scenes of how we analyze the market as traders, and of course how we execute and manage our trade accordingly. Okay, so that's all from me in this video. Hope it helped you in some way or another. If it does, you know, feel free to drop your thoughts, your comments, if you have any questions below this video as well.